Howdy, everyone. And welcome to the stream. Hope y'all are doing all right. Today, we're going to be continuing our RPG we started yesterday, which is going to be a traditional RPG, but instead of turn-based combat, you're going to get whisked off into a battle arena where you'll be doing active combat. So, rather than the whole game being action-based like this, it's sort of blends in with the more traditional RPGs that I grew up with personally. Yesterday we implemented the combat system, as you've seen, very basic. It's not how we want to do combat, it was just to get us started. And today we want to implement the weapon system, which is going to be like my Kindred Jam, Brave the Dark Mage, where you have a sword or a spear or a bow or whatever, and you aim it around the character. So it will rotate around the character and we'll start swinging it that way. And where it swings at is where it will hit. And we're going to try to implement some abilities today as well. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to keep these grunts from chasing us. We're going to remove their target finding ability. So they'll just stand still. They should take damage still so they're basically going to be practice dummies for us. And yeah, so that was the main reason for them. We'll get enemy II at some point later. Right now we're going to focus on letting the player attack the enemies. Howdy, Eddie. Good to be streaming. Hopefully I want to do a lot more streaming here lately. Get back into it. I should be able to now make it a regular thing. So we're going to start. Let's look at, we have a battle character. So we're going to have two representations for the character. We're going to have the overworld representation, where they just move around. They don't do any combat or anything. They interact with objects, maybe solve some puzzles. And then we're going to have a battle character, which is what runs around the world. It runs around the battle arena and attacks things. So this is our battle character. Very simple right now. Has an empty state machine in case we need it later. A body for our sprites, collision, an attack cooldown, and a hitbox. Really simple stuff. The grunt has this as well. And it's basically implemented like the player, except for it follows the player. I think the only difference in the player is that we have our attack and our movement is based on key input. So, now, with these characters, we're probably going to have enemies that also have this weapon ability. So they may be able to equip gear and stuff. So we're going to have this on our battle character, more than likely. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have the sword like a pivot around the character. So we're going to have some kind of pivot, probably have an offset for it. So we'll say, let me close these out. We shouldn't need these for a while. Should just need these two at most. No, maybe not even that one, but well, it'll be based on our input. So yeah. So let's go with the 2D here. Let's throw in a sprite just to sort of visualize. So we're going to merge from our player character, which is still their sprite. Just to help us visualize what we're doing. So we're going to have an offset probably like right here. Maybe offset that about, put that back in. So we'll have the offset here and the sword will rotate around that point. The reason being that you would expect it to be around their waist height, not their feet, because their feet's going to be here. We don't want it to rotate around that. So I was going to say the same thing as Eddie. Thank you for all the tutorials and the effort you have putting into teaching us. Well, I'm glad y'all enjoy it. Thank you for the support. Hola. So we're going to do this off of the body node for now. It may change, but we'll call this just pivot for now. And we'll put this up a little bit. And then we'll have, say, for example, we can have a weapon. Have a little range. And then it'll not do that. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. We'll go ahead and make our weapon classes. It's going to be the base class for everything. So this will be everything from swords to spears to bows. Just be the whatever your hold, probably just a holdable item. Maybe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to call it's going to be a weapon. We can rename it later if we need to. We'll create a folder for them. And howdy. So we have the weapon. We're gonna add. We're gonna. I made some sprites for this, so y'all would have something to look at. So I made the wall sprites. The character sprites is very. That was from this, and so we're also going to be stealing their swords. So we're going. Which we already have in our folder here. So if we just say sprite, take this, put it there. Now they're facing upwards, so we're going to have to rotate them. When you're doing items like this, you always want them to rotate towards the right. It makes it easier for rotations and whatnot. So which one do we want? We'll go basic and get this guy right here. So we're going to want to grid snap. Here. Then we set it for region, so it'll be that. Now we won't. For now, I think we'll have it here. I really don't like that. We're going to rotate the sprites because when I make the sprites, they will be facing the right way. So we'll have to fix that. I can't think if I'm going to be, let me enable pixel snap. I can't think if I need to rotate the sprite or not. Please do some gun attacks. Maybe. That's possible. I always think it's interesting when an RPG has low-tech guns, like a gunner, but he's wielding pistols or something like that. I always think that's interesting. We might do that. Certainly a possibility. I'll make a note of that right quick. So we don't forget. All right. Now we need this offset to be wherever that is, not the transform. So we'll zero that out. We'll go 10 for the wrong one. What? Yeah, that's why I don't like that. And negative 10. We'll get there eventually. Good. And so now when we rotate this, it'll rotate there. Are we going to do rotation though? Maybe. We'll find out once we get going. Now the idea is that we're going to have our character. And on the pivot we'll have a weapon. And this will be off a bit. Yeah, I feel like we're going to have to rotate it. Well, no, we'll rotate. Okay. We should be fine. So we'll have it off to a bit. We'll rotate it around. The weapon is going to have, each weapon will have its own radius. That is going to rotate around the, this guy. Let me close that, because I don't think we're going to need it for a bit. And weapon transform. So we're going to zero that out, because the weapon is going to control itself. We'll add a script here. We're just going to start with a basic weapon. Like I said, this is going to be extended. It's going to be like the swords and spears, but we're going to create the basic functionality first, and then we'll move it as wherever we need it, instead of planning that out ahead of time. So let's create an export for radius. And we'll just set, for now, we'll set this. We have 24 tile sets. We'll call this. Let's see what 8 looks like. And each physics process, we're going to update our position. Now that where this position is depends, because we'll have enemies and players doing it separately. So we'll probably have a look vector for our characters. Which will determine which direction the character is looking. And for our players, which we'll have to... Good thing I closed that one. For our player, the look vector is going to be our mouse input. So we'll go mouse position minus our global position. We're going to want to normalize this because this will need to be normalized at all times. And so with that, we want to update our sword here. Now, what we're going to do instead is we're going to have a, I don't like calling up the tree because we need to know what the we need to know, the weapon needs to know who's holding it if we're doing this look vector like this. So we're going to say like this, and this will need to be a battle character. And so in our battle character, we can say, we'll create a variable for our weapon. Your name is Morris. I'm terrible with names. I probably have to see an icon or something. Let's see. I am the worst for names. Sometimes I forget my own name. Let's see. But it sounds familiar. So what are we doing? We're in our battle character. We want to update this every tick if we have a weapon. Do we not really have a physics process? Okay, well. So if weapon is not equal to null, weapon dot update position, and we'll pass in ourselves so they can get the information it needs to update that position. Maybe. Let's give it a look. Well, there's other things we're going to pass in, but we'll just pass them in individually. There's no sense in passing in the whole thing. And so we're going to want to set the radius, so the look times the radius should be simple as that. Position equals look times radius. And that should be it for now. Just to get it, it won't rotate correctly. It'll just point towards our mouse if, yeah. But we need to set our weapon because right here we're not going to, we're going to get rid of this one. We're just going to put it on the player because I don't want it to mess with our other enemies. So we got this, and then we'll say in our playable character, in our ready method, we'll set our weapon equal to weapon. Let's see what happens. So yeah, there we go. And then we just need to rotate it, which the weapon should be able to handle itself. For now, we're going to rotate it equal to position dot angle. There. Now the idea here is we don't want to point at the mouse. We want to have it offset. So say the mouse is pointing here, we want it to point there until we attack, and then in which case it'll swipe to the other side. So like that. Design for your life, you said, can you show how but a timer node to a fireball? I don't know what you're asking. So have to go. Thanks for the awesome content. Thanks for showing up, bud. Like how to make a timer for like to destroy a fireball over a period of time. Yeah, swipe. Great to see another stream. I was wondering if this game is going up on itch or something. If I finish it. If it gets finished, I would, yeah. I would like to do like a legitimate game, post it up on itch and Steam. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish it. I just want this to be a quick, simple game. Ideally within 3 months, but we'll see how that one goes. But that's my goal. Just a quick little simple game, or at least post it up. Get the basics of it up. We can always expand upon it later if it does well. Are you participating in the 4 game developers jam? I haven't heard about it, so probably not. So what we want is we have this. We have the look. We want to modify the the angle offset. So when we're setting our position, we're setting it to the look plus the times the radius. That's the position. That sets the position, and then the rotation does a different thing. Okay. So if we were to say like look.rotated negative pi divided by 2.0, yes, that should rotate it a little to the clockwise. Yeah. And so all we have to do is when we swipe, say for example var swipe equals 0.0, we could say plus equals 0.2 times delta. This is temporary, just to get it to animate. And we'll say how do we want to say? We want to, so this is the angle that we're offsetting by. So let's go for our angle. Offset equals negative pi divided by 2.0, just to have more readability. And so we want to adjust this offset. Now if we times it by 0, it'll go, okay, it'll zero it out. And as we increment, it'll go. Okay, so what we want to do instead is we want to say -1. And that will put it back to the offset originally. And we'll say the -1 is to left swipe, swiping towards the right as we go to 1. And so we go -1 to 1, and then when we attack again, we go from 1 to -1. Now, instead of doing it this way, I'm going to make another temporary thing here. We're going to create a... Now the player might be what controls this. This is going to be what animates the swipe variable that I've created here. We'll just call it tween because we're not expecting to keep it here. And so we'll say unready var tween equals tween. That's a little redundant or whatever. And we'll say tween dot interpolate, because we're going to interpolate this property. The swipe one from -1 to 1. The game will take a second to start up, so we'll just do it really slowly. That's not how long it'll typically be. Assign, and he's in out. Tween dot start. Now this should start swiping as soon as we enter. Nope. Oh, because we're not timing by the swipe. Okay, that was a little different than I expected. I thank you for the $5, Austin. Love your content. Hope to see more. I plan to make more. This is in the Mrs. channel, the channel you participated in. I don't think he intends to have people do it again. I would imagine he seems to be doing different developers each time. Design your life. I don't know how to make dash move. Can you tell me? We'll be covering dash. Well, not dash. Dodge. At some point during this series. or this game, and it's very similar. It's just the animation is a little different. So yeah. So that animated the other way than I expected. Oh, because of this. There. Get rid of that. That was inversing the angle, and since we have it as -1, it was doing it clockwise, going counterclockwise. It should be starting clockwise, going clockwise now. Starting counterclockwise, going clockwise. All right. So now all we have to do is, and in fact, if we set that to repeat, do this again, but backwards. And give it a delay of 2. It should go back and forth. And this will be the idea for how we attack, but faster. So there you go. And that'll be how we attack. Oh, konnichiwa. I don't know. Isn't that a greeting? Not sure. I would not know. So anyhow, now we don't want the weapon to handle this properly. We'll let the weapon handle it for now. We'll just tell it'll keep it there. And we'll tell, the battle character will tell it to attack. So, we have, I think we already have attack input, but I don't know if we assigned a key for it. No, we did. Left button. Right, because we already did this here. Which we should already have an attack method. Or that was just in our player. Yeah, here we go. So attack there. So instead of creating this like we do here, we'll just tell the weapon attack cooldown.start. So what we'll do is say if weapon is not equal to null. So we're going to do the cooldown start again, but instead we're going to have the weapon is going to have its own cooldown. Or cooldown. And now this will vary, maybe if we do like combos or anything like that. But for now we're just going to do a single cooldown, and instead of doing any. I would have to look, man. Like I'm terrible with names. Like I'm guaranteed I remember who you are. I would just have to go back and look. I remember, like if you participate in my community, I remember who you are. It's just telling me your name is not going to help anything. I have to see typically your avatar with your name. And even then, sometimes it's tough. My memory is not so good, but dude, my memory is terrible. But it's recalling certain things like that. Like if I look back far enough, then I can remember things. It's just, yeah, names are not my thing. But I guarantee I remember you. I just have to look. All right. Okay, we were telling though. We're doing the cooldown. So a cooldown of 0.2. I think that's what we were using for the player. We'll tweak that a bit in a second to see what that's like. So we'll say a cooldown.start weapon.cooldown. Later on, this will be a method. We'll be like get cooldown for whatever combo state we're in. Okay. And then we can just say weapon.attack. I think that should be all we have to do. Should be able to get rid of all this. Howdy, Beans. Welcome to the stream. I had a problem with RPG and you said I had one shot on. And like, how do you know? Oh, yeah, I remember now. See, I know what you're talking about. And I told you that it happens to me all the time. I do it all the time. Okay, I believe I told you that. That or I just told somebody else that. Because a lot of things happen to me. Oh, boys. The weapon, attack. And we have the update position. No, that's not where we'll do that. Update this. We'll have an attack method, which is where we'll call the the interpolation. So what we're going to do, so what I'm thinking is we'll have a swipe here. So swipe. We just need one of these. Export var attack duration. This will be how quickly the weapon does the actual swiping. It's separate from the cooldown in case you want to have like a it probably won't be that much different in most cases, but say you want to have attack and then sort of a delay before you can attack again. We need some kind of animation to convey that, but we want that will allow for it to do that. So what we want to do is we want to determine which way we are and which way we're going. So in fact, if we keep it at -1 or 1, then we should just be able to say swipe, negative swipe. Thinking that'll work. Oh, that's not right. Oh, because we got repeat on. Whoops. What is alert? It interpolates the value towards another value by the fractional amount that you set in the third parameter. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. There's our swiping. And we can't attack too quickly. Now, sign doesn't seem to be, I don't like the way that feels. So let's go with quad. Okay. Now we're still probably going to want to have some kind of swipe animation to go with it, probably. Just to, I'm not going to do it right now, but you get the idea. So we have this. Let's add in a damage area, which will be what damage is. Yeah. It'll be what damages the enemy. There's a few things we'll have to do in the meantime, though, because we have it set up to where it's collision layer based, determines which enemy it attacks. And so right now we just have it on the player, but the enemy will be able to use it later as well. For now, we're going to... Oh, I did that wrong. So for now we're just going to tell it can only attack enemies. And I guarantee I will forget this later. Right there. So you're supposed to default to both. Okay. So we have our weapon. It has a damage area. It can only attack enemies. Okay. And then we want to add a collision shape. That should be good there. And that should be all we need. Now, it's going to attack enemies as soon as they walk into it, so like that. So we'll have to disable it, but there we go. So what we need to do is disable this collision shape whenever it's not attacking. So whenever we start the attack, we'll say collision shape dot disabled equals false. We should be able to set this here between dot interpolate property that disabled Wait, no. No. Interpolate callback. I think that's what that is. Yeah. Interpolate callback collision. No. That. Set. We should be able to set the disabled to false to Godot. The weird thing about Godot is it does that whole not thing, like disabled. In my opinion, it should be enabled, not the inverse. But hello, howdy. Okay, so now if we run into them, shouldn't matter. Swipe, and it disables it. Swipe. There. All right. Now, for a bit of coolness, as you see, it feels a little linear. We can add a bit of interest to it if we were to offset the rotation as well. So, if we were to say rotation angle offset equals, we need something, it should be as much, so let's go with divided by 4 times swipe. I think this will work. You say it feels a little more forceful now because you add in a little extra rotation to it. We can go full blown and do the whole 2 like we did here, and it's actually kind of like really powerful. Like I would, probably use that for like a big weapon. Now the cool thing is we can make exports to modify these variables as well. Let's try this. Okay. All right, cool. Now that we have the basic weapon system, later on in the stream we'll probably try to do some spears as well. So have like instead of swinging it, swiping it around, we'll have the spear like sort of chop, and jab. I think that'll be interesting. But now I want to try some abilities probably. Now the way this is going to work is the abilities are going to be based on the weapon that you have equipped, but not like it comes with the weapon, but like your skills with that weapon. So as you build your character, you'll be able to select skills and you'll be able to pick which ones you want to use for the battle. Say you have a limit of 4. You'll be able to say, I want to be able to use these 4 in the battle. And so we'll do a whirlwind. Like what, Legend of Zelda? Oh, I mean, we could. I tell you what, we'll take a look at that for fun. I don't know that I've ever done anything like that. How would we want that to look? So I'm thinking, like I say, if we have a sword right here and we attack, we bring it back, and then we bring it forward like that. So bring it back, spin it twice, back to the original. Now we have to consider, we're going to assume, so when we start the level, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to assume that we have a value, because this is a value of -1. Let me think. So we want to change the swipe itself, so I pull it back a little bit. It would give us less control, I think, over how much we're offsetting. Maybe. But, okay, let's try this. Let's make a method for it. And this will be like the attack method. Wait, we're in the wrong class. Oh, this will be like the attack method, except for it'll animate a little differently. So let's say between dot interpolate property. We're going to assume we're starting off with -1. It'll make it simpler. We can go out later. We'll say self swipe -1. Let's bring it back to -1.5. Just a quick timer. We'll go with basic linear for now. We can fix all that later. So we'll bring it back, and then we'll bring it forward. We want to bring it around a full circle. We are offsetting by let me think. We're offsetting by the halves of circles. We want to, if we do it the way I'm thinking of, whereas we swing the offset around to like, I think 2 should do, it'll do a full circle. We have to assume that the angle offset is always going to be that, which I don't know that, which it probably won't be. So, do we change the offset? For now, let's do this just to see what it looks like. So, -1 to 1.5, -1.5 to, I think 2 should do it. We'll say 3. Do linear, he's in and out. See what that looks like. Oh, gotta do that. We're gonna redirect. Should add a little pause. Oh, wait, we gotta do that. But delay here as well. So let's add that. Longer. Make it quicker. Too quick. 2. Okay, so that with that we could do another one. Give it twice as long. No, that broke something. Did not expect that one to break. I don't know why. Let us zoom in a little bit. I think it's that way, yeah. Let's see. Is the any reason you're doing most of this through code instead of an animation, though? I was just thinking about that. Like halfway through it, I was like, why am I doing this? But I don't know. I think it might be a little easier because we're going to, like, it's going to be modular. With animation players, everything's sort of, it's very rigid. For example, when I have these weapons, like this weapon right here is going to have a half circle offset position-wise, and then whatever this offset is for rotation, which gives it a certain feel. But if I start doing like a big weapon, I might do like a greater swing like that. We'll have to increase this rotational offset. And so it'll be difficult to have these because this is what changes the animation. It's what determines how it animates. Whereas with an animation player, with the weapon, I would probably have to be like I'd probably have to tell it specifically, like go here, key that in, bring it up here, you know. And it's, for one, this is the way that I have it. It's perfect circle. It's none of the jankiness. And just as for me personally, I think it's a little easier to do. But you certainly could do it with a with an animation player. I don't know why that is. Oh well. It's interesting. Unless I did. There is no telling. Well, it is a whirlwind, isn't it? I wonder. Oh no, it's fine. Because I mean, like I said, I was questioning that myself. I was legitimately asking that question myself. And I'm thinking it could be possible to do with with an animation player if we add an extra pivot in there. Because as it is, we're rotating we're doing the position using this. Yeah, we're basically using a normalized vector. Whereas if we were to add in a node here, pivot, well, maybe. My thought would be to use animation for template objects so you could reuse it for spears, hammers, etc. So you could make a sword slam or a hammer punt. I'm trying to think of what would be the good way to do that because of how we have that pivot. Remove the offset, removing the weapon. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I don't think it's for me. We can look at that later though, because this is a little tricky. Anyhow. That would be difficult. If we do the other way around, it'll be one. No, okay, it'll be 1 to 1.5. And then to -2. Let's see what that looks like. I feel like that looks off the rotation wise, maybe. Well, okay, we're messing up it. That is why. Yeah. I'm not too keen on it though. Looks. Yeah. I'm thinking. Tell you what, let's try this. We'll keep this. I'm not going to update the position. And, well, at least not that way. The weapon node itself will be at 0, 0. The position. We'll have this pivot node. It's not really a pivot node. I think it's going to be... What it's going to do is have a sort of offset here. So let's say we get an offset of 8. And then with our animation player, now, do we need swipe left and then a swipe right? So swipe left. Say the rotation. Here. Rotation is -by That would, no. Oh, that's degrees. So what? 360, 180, 180. Must be 90. Yeah. Nope. No, not that way. This one. If we rotate this one by negative 90. Then with here, we go up to 90. Should have the same effect, I think. If we key that. We could, nah, that won't work for everything. I was gonna say we could play it backwards to get the other way, but that won't work for, well, for regular swiping we can, maybe. Yeah, we'll just make another one. Swipe. I don't like it, but we'll do it. And I think if we pull it off this way, it will be easier to animate other abilities. I would like to have several abilities, so it probably will be easier to animate that. I would hope. Okay, so if we play that, swipe. Now we can probably still get away with the weapons rotating, but we should probably do that. Wait, what if we? No. Let's get back. If we rotate this, yeah, that should work. So if we say, how much for there? Howdy, Waldo. Waldy. Waldy. Okay. This feels really slow, though. Let's go. Yeah, 0.05. Bring this down to 1.5 or 0.15. So that's like, okay. So we have that, that's going. Now for this one, we'll want to go 45 to negative 45. Okay. Now when we attack, let's get rid of this. We can say swipe equals negative swipe. This will be just to let us know which direction it is. We'll do this after, and we'll say if swipe is greater than 0, we'll want to play the animation player, so we'll say attack animation. I don't like calling this animations. Attack animator equals, yeah. Then we can say attack animator dot play swipe right, else attack animator dot play swipe left. See what that does. Okay. We lose the twinning though. We don't have, like, I don't like Godot's animation player's twin controls. Can I set that? Okay. do it for the other one. See what that does. Not too fast, but now I just need to rotate. Should just be able to rotate weapon, I would imagine, towards the actual mouse. So update position, rotation equals look dot angle. No, what is going on there? Did we change the rotation? Yeah, we changed the rotation. I don't like that. Yeah, not a fan. We'll have to do some rigging to get that to work properly. I like the animation player solution a lot more, even though I am a professional programmer and hate the point and click solutions. I am right with you, Pascal. I'm not a visual type of person. And I don't like what that's doing right there. And I don't know of a decent way to get around that without doing some janky work. Well, actually, do we? We could rotate the pivot on the character. That assumes that everything wants to rotate towards that. We can assume that for now, because I don't think I can think of anything that might not be the case for that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Pascal, like using another one, but I don't want to like stack all these on top of each other. I think that would look terrible. But we already have this one here. We can rotate this one, I think. So in our physics process, instead of updating, I think it would be here. Yeah, instead of doing that, we'll just say, we'll cache it first. Pivot.rotation equals no, wait. But also that's not a method. Oh, gotta get the angle. There we go. Alright, so Zelix says, I finished my projectile system working on a point and click inventory. I was going to do melee systems next. I was planning to use an animation player system like this. Yeah, well, hopefully it helps. I think this will do what we need it to do. It should be good for most cases. Okay, now we just need to enable the damage area. I don't want to have to do it for all the animations, but I guess we'll do that too. So, swipe left will add, say disabled, off, disabled, on. Swipe right, disabled, off, disabled on. I should fix that. Nope. Well, that was... Why would you do... Maybe it's moving too fast. Maybe. Okay, let's us... bring this down a little bit. Maybe... bring this back up. There we go. No, not that. 0.1. Silly, silly. See, and you should be able to make the animation rotations agnostic. So if you only need to animate one side, a rotate based on player's rotation. I don't get what you're saying. Why does that feel unresponsive? The only thing I have a hold on. What if we do this? We are manipulating some physics. Let's switch this over to physics. Okay. All right. Now I don't know what issues that's going to have. Animating based on physics rather than the idle processing when everything else is going to be not physics based. We'll have to see what that does. Interesting that it was doing that though, because the tween wasn't having that issue, and the tween was on idle as well. Wonder why that was. Is it too small? I don't know that it is. The enemies had a pretty big kit box last I recalled. Oh, that is really small. Why is that so small? So let's hide that. Okay. Howdy, Dan. So. All right. Now let's do the Whirlwind. I want to find a way though to where I don't have to duplicate those swingings, because I really don't want to do that for every skill. Howdy, Aniki. So let's think. Let us think. And we do. If y'all have any suggestions, let me know. Because, like I said, I'm not big on the animation players, to be honest. Because I mean, like, if I'm going to be doing a whirlwind, I don't want to have to do a whirlwind left and a whirlwind right. I wonder. Swipe left. Now this one should swipe clockwise. Correct. And swipe equals negative swipe. Let's say if swipe is less than 0. I'm guessing that number. It's going to be one or the other, probably. I don't feel like thinking about it. If swipe is less than 0, then no. If we scale to y, -1. Let's do the else. No, that's terrible. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Twain, to be honest. For now, we can look at it later as to why, how we could fix that. Now, something we could do, instead of doing this offset like I've been doing, we could do the angles ourselves. I might look at that, because I mean the tween is just an animation player, but you do it programmatically. It's the same concept. It's just visual. So what we're doing here, we're saying so instead of the swipe, let's go tween dot interpolate property self. We're doing our own rotation, right? Rotation is like, it's the one that's the negative 90. Okay. So give. Now we do have the swipe here for. So pi divided by 2.0 times swipe. Let's go sine swipe just for maybe. Wait, no. Rotation. Then that, I believe. I want it to be pi divided by 2.0 times negative sine swipe. Why are you not completing? We'll do it by hand. Pardon? Oh. 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 Any others? Okay. Pi divided by 2.0 times some swipe. That should be negative clockwise 90 degrees. Then 2 pi divided by 2.0 times the negative sign of swipe. Negative sign of swipe starts out as negative 1. So let's go negative first. Then swipe into sign. Attack direction, trying to sign. Start quotient. And then we don't swap. Swipe equals negative swipe. Okay. And the rotation is off because of the animation we were doing. For you, let's reset you to 0. and U 0. There. Now we want to do it automatically for starting off with. But yeah, there we go. Why they don't feel circular? Oh, because we do. No, wait. Yeah. Okay. Then we need to do the tween.interpolate property for the pivot. Do we have pivot cached? Hello there, love your videos. I totally revamp my platforming controls with your videos. Much appreciated. I'm glad to help you out, bud. Reminds me of Burning Night. I love that game. I've never heard of it. I'll have to look into it. Burning Night. Okay, so pivot. Then we can just say pivot's rotation. Now this one. This was fine the way it was. It will be pi divided by 3.0 times sine of swipe. Pi divided by 3.0 times. This will rotate it the other way. Swipe. Attack duration. Wait, yeah. That should rotate the weapon itself, so we should get something similar to what we had before. There we go. Now the thing is, we'll just have to set it initially. We'll do it manually by now. Later on this will be customizable. So rotation equals pi divided by 2.0. Say negative pi. And pivot dot rotation equals negative pi divided by 3.0. There we go. So if we do that, we can get that rotation like that. Vertex is quick rotation. What programming languages do you know? I know bit of C, but I ain't used it like in a really long time. That was one of the first things I started with. I didn't really dabble into it. I knew, then I got into C++, which is what I learned for the longest time. And then Java, and GDScript, C#, and a few other miscellaneous languages scattered about, like Python, JavaScript, HTML5. A few things here and there that I never really got deep into, but enough to know a few things. Lucas Megastrike is a very cool prototype, but thank you. It's not quite where I want it to be yet. It's very basic. But I think once we start adding abilities and getting the enemies to do things, I think that'll be interesting. Because right now, I think we're just about to get there. Just trying to figure out how I want to implement this attacking system, which I think I'm going to go with this because it is less confusing than that. This way we can determine, we can say what rotations we want. So, Nicola, so everything of what are we talking about? Oh, so everything, every language? No. Not every language. There's plenty of languages I don't know. Okay. And I haven't really used a lot of them in a while. Ever since I picked up Godot, this is mainly what I've done. Look, it says, I'm trying to make an overworld for my top-down adventure game. Some way to save the stages I have beaten and load the ones I last played. We'll probably be getting into that in here. We'll probably get into world loading because I'm going to be creating an overworld as well. Overworld and dungeons as you crawl through. At some point. Focus right now is combat though. So I don't expect to get into that probably for a few days. If not longer. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much, the popular ones, yeah. That was a thing when I was learning to program though. Like I did, I stuck with my few that I really wanted to know. really was real comfortable with. But my thing was learning more. I always wanted to. I didn't want to box myself into just a couple languages. I wanted to learn a bunch of different ones. You're gonna make a VR game in assembly? That sounds terrible. I've never used assembly though, but I've heard some things about it. It sounds interesting. It sounds like a challenge, but I don't know much about it. But I hear it's something else. All right. So we got this. Let me think. Let's try to do the Whirlwind again. Now that we have this system, it should be a little easier to implement. So when we do the Whirlwind, we want to, we're looking in this direction. We want to pull the sword back a little more than half a circle. So let's go start with that. A little more than half a circle. And then we want to spin it around twice from that point. Let's assume we're swinging left to right. So we'll say, we will cancel this out. And we'll just call Whirlwind from here just to shortcut it. So we'll start out. So tween dot interpolate property. I want to set ourselves rotation. Okay, so we want to start where we are, which is going to be pi, or we'll start with the default position, pi times sine swipe. I just said we want to do, we're going to assume that we're starting from -1. There. And then we want to take that, we'll set this equals. This is where we're starting at. Rotation. And we want to take it back half a circle, which is minus pi, then minus a little more. So negative pi minus pi divided by just a little bit. 0.075. Let's see what this looks like. Let's just do a linear so that we don't get confused as to what's going on. Okay. There. So that should cock that one back. And then we will sling it forward. Now, let's also zero out for now. Zero out rotation so it's not throwing us off. It'll look janky when it starts, but we'll fix it later. So yeah, cocking it back and then we're going to sling it forward. So, I'm going to say tween dot interpolate property, self rotation. We're going to start where we did here. We're hard coding these for now. We'll find a better way to do it here in just a second. We want to take that because we're just trying to work out what we want to do exactly. Now we should just be able to add pi to it. 2 times pi is a full circle. So we should be able to say like 4 times pi. That should be 2 circles. Let's do 6. Just to be fancy. Then we need the duration. Let's say 0.4. Turn that linear. Ease in out. And we need a pause for it. So 0.75. Nice. 0.15. Oh, no, too much. 0.15. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do these cumulative. do this up. So now the thing is, when we're switching, actually I think I already know how we could do this back and forth. But let's make this a little more readable. So let's add in some comments. So we'll cock it back. Cock back. It'll be rotation, which is where we're currently at. Plus we're going to have one, I don't know of a better name, we'll call it previous. This is where we're going to store this. We're going to use this to sort of accumulate and var timing like that. This won't be as important here, but it will be easier when we start doing things in the future. So here we can just say previous. And then previous plus that, which is what we're doing, too. And so here to push it back, tween dot interpolate property self rotation how I deal with that, I wouldn't have to do that a bunch of times, but wow, I think I just made that more confusing. So, shoot, okay. Here. That'll be for current. So current to the previous. Then we go here, current equals previous. And previous equals current plus 6 times pi. This is a terrible way to do this. I don't recommend it, but I think it'll make it easier to read what's going on, especially when we start adding comments. It sounds really silly, I know for sure. Lucas Mega Striker with support for $2. Thank you, bud. VAR support equal to that's you're very kind. Thank you. All right, so that's pretty funny too. So current equals previous, previous equals current, and then okay, so current equals previous again. Like I said, very silly. We're being really silly here, not caring. Oh, and we can say current, right? Rotation, current. Now the previous. No, we already did the previous there. Now previous. This is what we're doing here is pushing it back. So for this one, it'll be not previous. Next. Next would make more sense. So here's what we're putting. We're putting it back to where we started. Now, the timing is what we're going to do here. So the timing equals 0.075. All right, we're 0.15 because we're adding a pulse to it. So the timing here. This is so bad. And now the timing is going to plus equals that 0.4 plus another delay. Oh, so bad it's good. Tween dot translinear tween dot ease in out timing. Do we already have a next? Oh wait, silly. Okay. That's ooh. All right, we spun it so much. Okay, so what we okay, hold on. So what's happening is it cocked back, it spun all the way forward, and then I want to reset it backwards. The trouble is, it's done all that spinning forward. That way, that sucks. It's done all that spinning forward, so when I reset it backwards, it spun all the way backwards. The way we would fix this would be to wrap the angle at that point. Oh man, this is messy. I mean, honestly, with the animation player, you still have this issue though. We could tell you what. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how I want to solve this one. We could. We could. Whenever this runs out. Pardon me. So what we're doing is, this is when we're starting the... No, not the timing. That's wrong. There. That's how we need... Now this, yeah, set the wrong thing there. So at timing at this point... we could say tweet dot actually no, I'm being set. Okay, current equals wrap f the current negative pi by pi. I think that might fix that. Oh, come on now. See what happens. There we go. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to do an interpolate set. That would have been hilarious. Oh, but I forgot we're tweens. When you're setting this value here, it actually sets it. I don't know why that skipped my mind. Okay, so the reason this it looks really silly. The purpose of this is to ignore this for the most part. Don't look at this, you look at these. So it's currently at this. We want it to go backwards a bit. And then all this is, after this point you just ignore that. This is where it currently is in the animation. And all we want to do is take that and modify it. So we want to spin it forward 6 times. And then for this one, we ignore that. All we want to do is reset it to this one. And the timing, all it does is just accumulate the time so that we don't have to keep adding this up manually. Okay. Okay. It's still janky, but I like it. Okay, so that's the Whirlwind. Yay! That's really fast, though. Oh. Now. No, wait, hold on. Okay, so we're not doing the timings properly for one. So let's think about how we want to do this. Timing is just for the delay, so let's rename this to be... No. Timing. We're going to name this to delay. Delay, excuse me. Just so that it makes more sense. So it's not the actual timing, it's the delay. The delay. Jeez, that's terrible. Okay, so the delay is going to be this timing. I don't put it here because it makes more sense here. The whole reason I wanted to do this was so I don't have to keep modifying things, but if I want to keep it that way, I'm not happy about it. Okay, so the way to look at this is the current time. We could have these in the variables. We'll not do that later because I'm not a fan. And then, so this is the how long it takes to do that transition, and that's the pause. So we have this, which it was spinning really fast, right? So that's, we want to modify this. So it was really fast. Let's go with 0.6. I really don't like that I have to modify those two places, but that didn't. Pardon me. Where did that break? Okay, so it must have been when I changed it. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what I did. We don't need that, I don't think. Put it back. Let's just leave it there. I don't feel like messing with it. I don't know why that timing was off. Okay, so we have Whirlwind. What do we want to do next? Another thing I wanted to do was if you attack. No, let's put our regular attack back. Oh, also I need to do it for the other way, don't I? Let's do that real quick then, while I'm thinking about it. So we need to modify this in such a way so that it takes our current swipe into account. Shouldn't be too difficult. So we have a current, this is our current. This is modified by our swipe. And then we want to modify this in such a way. So when we do this, it is cocking back, so negative pi plus a little more extra. So for this, the other way around, we want to do forward negative pi, or no, forward pi plus a little more. So I think we just do pi plus this times swipe. Add these together. How long have you been developing games, sir? I wouldn't say developing games. I've been programming games for about 10 years. But, like, with me, I've never really set out, I mean, not like truly set out to finish a game. It's always, I enjoy the process of developing. I enjoy making little mechanics and doing things, just little tidbits. It's one of the reasons I created my channel, was because rather than making a full-on game, I could just make little bits and pieces and make videos on it. You know, that was, and so, yeah. So I've been game programming for about 10 years, but I haven't really developed. My focus hasn't been to develop games. I would like to finish one though, so hopefully I can finish this one. But for me, it's more about just the act of programming. Because other than my jam entries, a flurry of stab and thrust. Yeah, we could do that. Once I figure this out. But what I was gonna say is one of the things I want to do is like a regular swipe. I don't have anything like a regular swipe, but it sends out little shockwaves like ahead and slightly to the angle like that. So, but it'll do it in an order of whichever order you're swiping. I think that'll be cool. So I think all we have to do is that. And then this swings around. So I think for this, we just have to times it by the sine of. So I keep doing this. That's why it's just. I'm not going to be animating this variable. I don't know why I started doing that. It's always going to be 1 or -1. I'm just being silly, to be honest. Okay. I think I did it for readability, but that just honestly it's more confusing than anything. And then I want to reset to the current. So it needs to be this. Come on now. Alright. See what that looks like. And let's do that, and then swipe equals swipe. There we go. That'd be cool. Yeah, I think it will be. So now we've got alternating whirlwinds. Now let's look at the jab one. So we'll call it function Flurry. Let's look at how that might look. So we have our sword here. I'm not sure. We'll set it instantly. Instead of tweening, we'll set the sword to be looking at the camera. So we won't have to take any swipe into consideration. We'll just say we don't need to swing. We're just going to say rotation. We are doing rotation for that. So yeah, rotation equals 0. So if we do that, it should just choop. No. Do we have pivot rotation? I thought I canceled that out. We did it in that method, but not there. Okay, so we're going to set it there and then start jabbing forward several times. We could also start like sort of randomizing the strokes too. I think that'd be cool. Burn said, hello, howdy, howdy. So rotation equals 0, and then we start tweening. So we'll say tween dot interpolate property. Now when we do this, we should just need to interpolate the X position. To initial value. Initially it's at 0, I'm sure, right? No, how do we setting our position? Update position, rotation, look. Are we not setting our position? Okay, it's been set somewhere. Oh, I bet we're setting it manually in the scene. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we can just get the position that is at position.x times no, not times, plus, let's go big, see what that looks like. It's gonna be massive, probably. And we want these to be quick. We won't quart. We want to go into it directly. Do we want to go immediately, or do we want to ease up to it? Let's ease up to it. So in, I believe in would be the one. And then we want to pull it back. Oops. Let's go var2 equals position.x plus 16. In case we need to modify it, because we'll probably enter a loop here and loop it. Plus 2, oops, no, regular 2. 2, want to go back to position.x. And then 0.075, again the quart. This time we'll ease out. This should pull it back. Tween dot start. This should be the first jab. That was really quick. Let's put a delay on it. Oh, we have to delay that one too. So now duration equals 0.075. Times 2. Oh, what is that? 1.5 or 1.5? Jab duration divided by 2.0. Forwards and backwards. And we need a delay here, which will be the jab duration divided by 2.0. No delay. Wait. Yes. For delay equals 0.5. Okay. That's 0.05 of that. Okay. And then I in, let's say 8. Okay. See if that works off the back. Okay. Let's go a little longer actually. I thought that was going to be too much. I don't think it's enough. Okay. And the question, do we want to, because we should be able to, do we want to keep the rotation while we're doing it? Or should we lock the rotation? What do y'all think? If we lock the rotation, it might be easier to adjust, so add a bit of randomization to it. But if we don't lock it, it might be more interesting for the player. Also, we need to make sure we our cooldown is broken right now. Keep rotating. You should randomize the spread a little when doing a flurry jab. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. My idea is have a single jab able to be controlled and unlocked while the flurry is locked. I don't think I'm going to have a singular jab. Like, this isn't going to be a really depth combat system. You're going to basically have a single basic attack, but you're mostly going to be relying on abilities. Rather than having multiple different types of attacks, you're going to have abilities. And so, like, abilities will cost, some kind of stamina or something like that, and you build that up throughout the battle. And so, like, each ability needs to be, I don't want it to be just a single jab. Unless it does something, like it has an extra bonus. Like, I don't want it just to be a single jab, though. So, it'll just be the flurry. I think I'm going to keep rotating it. I think that'll be more interesting for the player. Thinking about it, what's the advantage of the flurry attack over a normal swing? Flurry attack will be faster, I would imagine. Whereas a normal swing is kind of fast. One of the things, it's hard to tell how fast you're going to be attacking until you start adding animations, in my opinion. And so usually it's fast right now, but it tends to get slower as I start adding animations, because animations sort of convey when you can and I can't attack, and without that it feels weird. So when I start adding animations, it improves the flow of the combat, and so I can pull back on the speed a little bit. Reach also. I think I still want to increase the reach on this one. That's still acting up. I can see you are... Oh, wait, hold on. Let's try the tween now. Where is it at? Oh, right, this mode. Turn this to physics. Oh, that might have been what the issue was last time. I need to fix it to where... Right now, the damage is based on if you're inside of the damage area. It's not like when you enter it. It's not based on constant damage. It's something I usually don't worry about for later, because it's not a game-breaking thing. It does get a little weird sometimes, but I have to remind myself of that. So yeah, let's go a little longer on that jab. I might slow it down slightly, like ever so slightly, because it is pretty quick, especially as we get longer and longer. Let's go with 32. That's probably too many. Let's go with 4. Even longer. Where's it at? Here. Okay, cool. All right, so how we want to do spread. Right now we're doing position X. And we're just offsetting the position. We could alter the rotation. Yeah, that should be all we have to do, I think. Now, when we do it, so we do the delay. If the attack starts, we want to do it at the delay, I reckon. Do we pull it back? We probably need to pull it back as well. Okay. So tween dot interpolate property self rotation will be the current rotation. Wait. Yeah. Okay, no, we should maybe fine. I'm not sure how I would do about that. I think we're rotating the pivot on the character. Rotating this should be fine. Rotation, it should be 0. Because I'm not adjusting the rotation. Yeah, we've set it to 0. So let's just go to 0 for readability's sake. And then we'll say rand range. How much do we want? Say pi divided by 16.0. Go to negative for here. And pi divided by 16.0. Jab duration. Actually, I think we're just going to set. So interpolate, callback, self-return. So we have to do this. I think it's a little different. Yeah. So jab duration. Wait, no. This will be the delay. This is when we do it. It'd be at the delay. Callback. We do a set. Rotation. We set it to rand range negative pi divided by 16.0 pi divided by 16.0. Do anything else? That's it. And then here we just set it back. Delay to 0. Alternatively, we could just set it at the end. Do we need to do it? We might just, yeah, I think we could do just that. Okay. So add a little more, see what that looks like. We're gonna go overboard. Not, maybe not. Let's go 12. So speed and reads, that makes sense, thanks, yeah. Plus it probably have, oh, that looks weird. Why does that look weird? I wonder if that's just because the sprite's rotated. Eh. Looks like it's popping though. Maybe we will lerp. No, I don't want, nah. I don't know. Okay. Let us slow things down a little bit. Looks fine. I guess it's just because of the instant setting. But yeah, it may, I think it may have more damage. Could do like a more chance of critical, performing a critical, whatever. So swing dot interpolate. Let's do it. Let's try interpolating the property because that is really quick. Self rotation. And the duration, we're going to be starting at the delay. This is by starting as we do it. So let's have it a 0.05. Let's go with a soft one, ease in and out. I'm thinking delay minus 0.05. Let's see what that looks like. And we're going to set we're going to store it in a random variable and set it to rotation so that it goes from, as it's looping, it goes from where it is to the new one. Obviously more damage to cavalry units as well though. Let's see. I think that should be it. It'll have, we're going to set it instantly when we get it back, but probably not keep it that way. Oh yeah, we set the engine. Well, let's take a look. I kind of like that. Okay. All right, let's see how it looks at full speed though. Yeah, it looks better. Okay. Another, like a late game ability could be like you throw out a bunch of swords. It's like the jab, but you do like 5 swords at one time. So I think that would be cool. Okay. All right, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Now let's do the shockwave thing. So when we have this one, it's going to have the regular attack. So we can copy this. We'll probably just call the attack method. Maybe we'll have to see what happens to the attack method. But if we do it now, that'll be an indirect recursion, and that'll be fun. So with the shockwave, it'll be like that. But as we do it, it'll send out little shockwave things. So let's disable that for now. I'll start getting to work on the shockwave things. So the shockwave duration, we're going to use regular attack duration. Let's have our shock ability duration. How long is our attack here? Attack duration 0.2. We'll do 0.2 for now. We may change this later. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I want it to be consistent. We have weapons that could have various speeds. I don't want the shockwave. I want the shockwave to have a consistent speed. So that's why we're going to have our own variable here rather than using. So we may have to have an attack method that takes in a duration, which will play interestingly with our cooldown. We'll have to see how that works out. Well, no, maybe not, because we'll have, when we do the cooldown method, we'll have like a get cooldown, and we'll have it check for like a basic attack or ability, and so we'll pass in like get the cooldown for this ability, so it should be fine, it should be easy. So we'll get the cooldown. What we want to do is create a shockwave where you're looking at it. We want to have one directly where you're looking at, and we want to have 2 offsets to the side of it. Okay, so that should be easy. We're going to have a shockwave entity. So first we'll create the shockwave entity that goes forward. This will just be a node 2D shockwave entity. Okay, so and this will be like a sort of like a container group, I think. Might even rename this just call this shockwave. And then we'll have little entities inside of this that we manipulate. Okay. Then we'll have the little entities here. For lack of a better word, I don't know what we'll... Entity. Okay. And this will be like the individual things they get called. This should be really simple. We're just going to be creating a line of these, really. And each of these will have a sprite. It'll need a rotation, but it should just be able to rotate the controller, I think. So we'll have a sprite. We don't have a sprite on hand. Let's use this guy. going to assume for now that this only damages enemies. But enemies could have this later on as well, maybe. Okay. So as we get the shockwave, all it's going to do, it should be really, really simple actually. Function ready. I just need to loop, iterate through, and create a bunch of these. So for entity equal so for I in, let's say 8 for now. We're hard code this just for now. We may have different sizes, like maybe the middle one is longer than the other ones. It's for I in 8. For entity equals entity dot instance constant entity spacing. Now these are going to be, right now we don't have a consistent size. I think I downgraded that and it should have been 24, so 12, that should be 12 wide each. Let's go 8. So we'll say entity, what was it? I got add it. Add child entity. Entity dot position dot, we just need to change position dot x because we're going to rotate these accordingly. Position dot x equals entity spacing times I. I think that's all we have to do. We need to stagger these, so we're going to create a function spawn entities. So for each one, we will then yield. I don't know how creating a bunch of timers is going to be, if we need to worry about that, but if later on we need to do this, we can make our own timers and see if that makes any difference. Create timer, let's say 0.1. That feels really long. Let's go 0.5. Timeout. Cool. All right. And then or we're going to have to delete these. I don't want to delete them all at the same time. I want to delete them similar to how they came in. So we might just add a tween instead. Okay, so we'll have one entity. Maybe have an index of which one it's being spawned as. For entity equals, let's just copy this. Say tween dot interpolate callback. Yes. On our cells, spawn entity. No. Silly. Let's say timing. You know, actually, we can have the entities that remove themselves, maybe. No, we'll just do it manually because it'll allow us, pardon that. It'll allow us to remove ourselves afterwards. Should be easier too, I think. I would imagine. So let's what did I? Yeah, 0.5 const entity lifetime. This will be how long the thing stays. say 0.4 for now. So the idea being, spawn, that we use that. What duration again? Now duration is when we call this, so it'll be I times entity timing. We're going to spawn entity. Yeah, we'll probably, jeez. Okay, hold on. It's going to be a little funky again. What we're going to do is we're going to have the entities remove themselves for simplicity's sake, and then emit a signal when they do it, or we'll connect them up. Yeah, we'll connect them. Function on entity removed. And all we'll do is check to see if we have any children left in that entity's thing. So spawn entity, or just arguments. So, all right. So entity, it gets created, gets added, the position gets placed. We need to connect it. Entity.connect. The tree exited. Self. On entity removed. That should be it. When it's removed, we'll just say if entities.getChildCount equals 0, then we will queue free. Then here, create a script, we'll create a timer that auto starts after 0.4 seconds on its timeout. We'll just queue free. That should be all I have to do for that. Just create it and see what happens. So, when we attack with our weapon, we're going to get... We're just going to create the shockwave for now. So, for shockwave equals preload shockwave dot instance. Shockwave. Yeah. Okay. That should add it at the weapon. So let's just see what happens. Oh. Stack. Where's my recursion? Shockwave. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. Whoops. Oh, still recursion. What? Oh, no, hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh. Ah. Silly. Accidental recursion is the best recursion. Too big. So we got this tween spawn entities, goes through, call back spawn entity, make sure this gets called. That never gets called because we don't start the tween. Silly mistake. Very silly. we'll also, there we go. Okay, now we don't want to create these on the weapon. We want to create these in the world. And so we'll need our globals method. We'll need to make sure we have a reference to the world. We have our battle arena, and the battle arena should set itself. So that's what we need, because this is the level that we're in. Awesome, Austin, what does the red dot do that you placed in the script? That is a breakpoint. So what a breakpoint does is once that line of code is executed, the engine stops and it will show you variables. So for example, I used it, where did I use it at? Like here, I was stepping through the code. And so you can see, like, this is the stack trace to where I'm at. I'm in this method right here, called from that method. And there's variables here for my script. So there's myself, there's the tween that we're using. Here. You see all these variables, you just step through the code. You see this button here allows you to step into scripts. And just see how the code gets executed. Oh, all that's commented. So that's a bit of a womp womp, but hopefully you get the idea. All right, so is debugging always on in Godot? Yes. To my knowledge. No? I mean, I don't know. It always stops on the debug for me. I don't know. Okay. You're welcome, bud. You are welcome. I think he's asking if it's always active. Right, replacing these in the world. So instead of adding the weapon, instead of adding this to our cells, we're going to say globals dot battle arena dot add shockwave. But then we need to set its position. Position. The position, we want that look variable. We could get it by saying, no, I don't want to do it that way. See, shockwave. Wait, did we pass it into attack? We didn't. Let's say shockwave. We should just be able to say get parent rotation. No, that's the opposite of what we want. Do you know how to connect a database to GGScript? I don't. It's not something I've ever tried to do. Yeah, it would be indeed. I imagine there's a way the people at Godot are fancy lads. They do cool stuff. They've probably figured that one out. It's an interesting thing to look into, though. Okay. Well, so with the shockwave, we want the look direction. We don't want to pass it in directly because, like I said, we're going to be doing 3 different ones. So we just pass. Well, actually, yeah, okay. Because we're going to be modifying our ones on that. So, look, we'll just pass that in. Now, this don't know what look is. Attack. Let's do it for attack as well. We might use it down the road. So the playable character, no. Yes? Yes. And the look belongs to us. So we're passing that in. Oh, whoops. I ain't changed a thing. So if entity, we're doing it the weapons. Shockwave, Battle Arena, add child. Okay. Actually, we need the actor. We want to spawn it at the actor? Yeah. I think, yeah. There is JSON parsing, yes. Which we'll be getting into at some point when we start doing NPCs and stuff. And events and whatnot. We don't need, if we're going to have an actor, we shouldn't need look. Because we can just get it off of that. So we'll just say battle character. This will cause recursion issues later, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Not like I'm going to use it now anyhow. I need to catch up with architectures and assembly languages. Oh. Good luck to you. So, battle character. No, player character. So attack, we want to pass in ourself. So back to shockwave, we have the actor we're using. So when we set the shockwave's position, it'll be shockwave dot global position. Actually, well, I just now realized we have. Let's rename this. Form. For lack of a better name. I just realized we had that as the same thing as a variable, which could be confusing. Is this a game for a tutorial or just for the sake of making a game? Just for the sake of making a game. I needed to shake off a bit of rust and get back into development, and figured I'd live stream the process. No, I said last stream, probably at the beginning of this stream, I don't know. But yeah. Just for fun. I'm thinking about doing a lot more live streaming and some live streaming and some devlogs probably. Yeah. So I mean, I'm hopefully, you know, we do a few of these a week. Yeah, maybe 4 or 5. I'm hoping, maybe more, maybe less. We'll see. Probably not less. I want to do a good bit. I want to get into doing proper game development, and I enjoy having your company. So, right, we're setting the position. Setting the position to our actor's position. Oops. Actors.global position plus the actor's look times, we need some kind of radius. For right now, we have the weapons radius. Did we ever set the radius? Yeah. We'll hard code it because I don't want to rely on that. It's not what it's intended for. I tried following your tutorial, but my little brain couldn't. Nah. I wouldn't call it a little brain. Are you new to programming? I mean, I don't take that as the wrong way. What I'm saying is, like, my tutorials are intended for intermediate people. So if you're new to programming, then I would suggest, you know, like Kids Can Code, or, you know, like, he's a great. Yeah, I swear I learned my stuff from Kids Can Code. Learn from, you know, the basics, and then try my stuff. I wouldn't jump straight into my stuff. People do that all the time, and y'all mad. Like, I don't know. I would hate to start with my tutorials. And howdy, Pranov. I'm gonna stop right there. So shockwave.global position equals actor.global position. So we'll set it where it is, towards the actor's look, times 8. Hard coding, I don't like that. But I don't want to set the shockwave's offset here, though. I feel like that belongs in the offset. Well, I mean, game development, though. It's a little different. Have you ever done game development? No. If you know all that stuff, I would be, no. I don't believe you, bud. Don't believe you're an idiot. Takes a big brain to know all that stuff. All right. So, shockwave dot global position. We're going to set it here for now. I don't like it, but we'll set it. So yeah, that's not offsetting though. Oh wait, because we need to set the rotation. Shockwave dot rotation equals actor dot look dot angle. Okay, so there we go. Still really big. Still massive. Let's bring it down again. We'll create proper sprites for this later, but okay. Now we just want to do that again, but in a loop. We don't need to redo that for in3. Okay. I'll tell you what, for I in range, it's been a while since I've done a range one, so I think it's one where you want to go to minus +1. The idea being -1, 0, 1. I think that's correct. Let us print I just to confirm it. Yeah. Tutorials are really helpful. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them. Glad they're useful. Okay, so we're going to still be setting the position, setting the offset. Now we want to rotate the offset, so, and the position is, yeah, so position plus that. What's that, is that even, hold on. Oops. There's my super basic game I made to learn Godot. That is a whatever that word is. You can get some ideas, then you can start doing some systems and tests. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do this. I didn't really test this much. We're going to bump that up just to make sure this is acting as intended. Yeah, okay. So we should be able to rotate this, maybe? What if we rotate this? That rotated -pi 2.0. The rotation has to do it as well. Okay, for rotation offset equals -pi divided by 2.0. Okay. That's not... Yeah, okay, wait. If we bump this up again, we should see. Okay, cool. So we want to do like a really big, probably not even enough. Let's So 16. And then we can enter back into this. Oops. Now we're going to do these all at the same time right now. In later on. Oops. Later on we're going to want to separate them. So rotation offset times I. Oh. We will need this here. There we go. We're going to have to... He's getting hit multiple times by the same shockwave. That will be interesting. What we'll have to do is connect up our hitbox, or our damage area. Our damage area should be able to detect when it hits something. We should then add that to an exception to all the shockwaves, I think. But yeah, there's that. And then all we have to do... Well, I mean, not all we have to do. We still have a lot to do. We have to time it so that it doesn't all happen at once, which I'm not sure how I want to do that yet. But yeah, good stuff. See, I had to make 6 raycasts with over 200 lines of code to make the collision work. I read that as 6 factorial. I don't know if that's what you meant by 6 exclamation point, but yeah. Oh, excuse me. I'm just waiting for 4.0 to come out, and hopefully they fix some stuff. Can you set a flag? What flag are we talking about? No. If hit by a shockwave, it will have a cooldown before it can be hit again. Yeah, the thing is, the thing is, each individual entity has its own damage area. And so he's getting hit by all of them. That should already be implemented. Like, he can only get hit one time. So, for example, if I take my sword... Now, this is based on, right now, it's based on damage enter. But if I take the sword and walk onto... Oh, I hate this. There. Should not... Hold on. I thought I disabled. No? That needs to be disabled. So if I take the sword, hit him, I can stay there and it's not going to keep hurting him. Because it's based on when it's entered. So he's not taking damage multiple times by the same damage area. It's the fact that I'm creating a bunch of them. So what needs to happen is we need to take this damage area. And it should have a funny little signal there. That it gets emitted whenever it hits something. And we should have this shockwave listen for that. And if that happens, we need to get the entity that was hit, actually. Maybe? Yeah. We need to take that and apply the exceptions to all of the shockwave entities that are created and will be created, actually. So we might have to store it. That'll be interesting. I don't want to worry about that right now, though. So that way it will ignore the other ones. Maybe damage for a fraction of a second. See, I don't plan on having the enemies having any invulnerability. That's usually, maybe have a little bit. Are we still alive? We are still alive. I guess I set it true and start a timer and start a timer. We already have. We could try that. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Because right now, I don't think anybody has an invulnerability. I'm usually not a big fan of, but I still killed him. What if we bump this up? It could be that it's not working. I don't think I really tested it much. Okay, there we go. But as you can see, like, it's still meh. I definitely don't want a 0.2 invulnerability on an enemy. He's still taking, like, it should be 3 hits to kill him. It's taking 2. So yeah, A signal. What is a signal? Signals are amazing. It's one of the best things about Godot. So check this out. In a programming equivalent, there's a name. There, you might be noticed something else. Listener, like an event, Yeah, callback. But yeah, pretty much. So I can basically say something happened and something else somewhere else be like, oh, I was listening for that. Yeah. Basically what that does. Okay. So shockwave. Many ways to handle that. To be honest, I don't know that I want to deal with it right now, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Cool. So we have the shockwave, small entities. We have, okay, so here, let's look at this. We have exceptions. We have exceptions here, and this is being used by the hitbox. I don't think it's using our except this is someone else's. Yeah, here we go. There's these exceptions. If not self-in. I'm crashing, but glad I got to chat with you all. Well, I'm glad you showed up, bud. It was nice talking to you. Yeah. Hope you do catch the next stream as well. I look forward to seeing you. I might be calling it as well. I think we got 3 abilities enabled. I think that's good for now. I think I'm going to do some more art, maybe. Do some more planning. We'll probably in the next stream look at maybe some. I'll probably do some anime AI off camera because I did that in previous streams. There's not a whole lot to that. And maybe we'll start working on getting our player characters, like extra characters going. We can start focusing on some magic stuff. Like we could get a cleric to heal us, an archer. Oh, I want to work on bows. I think bows would be cool. I personally would like to be able to control a bow character, an archer character. And then dodging. We also want to implement that as well. I don't know if I implemented dodging in a previous stream. So we're going to want to do that. It's not real hard though. It's usually really simple. Yeah. And I think I'll do some art. And I need to fix this up a little bit and get it more depth. Now that it looks kind of flat. Because I'm not varying the sizes up the wall. Anyhow, I think that'll do it for now. I appreciate y'all for coming to the stream and hope you enjoyed it. Y'all take it easy.